Welcome, everyone, to Friday's Inspiration. I'm broadcasting live from Miami today. I've been here for an event with my mentor. Let me just clear this a little bit. Sorry, maybe it's a little better. I've been here with my mentor, Mas Sajadi. We've been doing an event and getting upgrades and downloads, and we had a great adventure yesterday out on the bay. And so today, I feel really amped up and ready to go. We're going to be talking about how to change an unawakened partner. So, I attract a lot of people here who are um, maybe coaches, healers, and a lot of you might have partners who are not progressing as fast as you. Maybe you're making great strides. You're really committed to your growth, your expansion, your evolution, and your partner is not. And maybe you're starting to feel this great divide, this divide of like you're just going in different directions now. Or maybe as a result of the pandemic, you find yourself on opposite sides of the spectrum now. And so maybe you're wondering like how do I inspire my partner? How do I change my partner so that we're more aligned and we could be on the same path together? And so today this is what we're going to be talking about. And so I have some good news and I have some bad news. And so the good news, well, let me start with the bad news. I'll start with the bad news. The bad news is that this idea of trying to change someone else so that we feel better on our path and we feel more comfortable or our life gets better is, as they call, bass backwards. So we're stepping into a new paradigm where we are responsible for ourselves. And a very interesting thing happens that when we start changing ourselves and start creating the changes here, there's an amazing ripple effect that starts to happen. It affects everyone around us, whether it's our partner, our children, our family, our work colleagues. This ripple just goes out, and there's an amazing thing that happens. People mysteriously start to change around us. And so it is backwards to think that we control anything, for one thing, and certainly other people. Like everybody is on their path, everybody is learning their lessons in their time and in their way. And while we can, bring ideas to people and suggestions, it's not our job to get them to do the work. Either they're on board or they're not on board. But here's the good news. Like I have good news for you too. So the good news is that there is a process now, and I'm going to walk you guys through this process today for our MediClearing. There is a process where you can work on your partner without ever working on your partner. And so there's a specific space. I call this the we space. There's a specific space. And what this means, this we space, well, what is that? It's it's um, it's not a literal space you go to. It's an energetic space that holds the container for your relationship. And so when you enter this space, when you get into your relationships, when you get into your relationship, when you're in your relationship, it there's an energy to this space. And for those of you who are having a hard time even having conversations, having those difficult conversations, you can bet that in this space, there exists a lot of anger. There exists maybe some resentment. Maybe communication is blocked. Maybe this space isn't even grounded. So when this energy space, this we space, is clear and flowing and grounded, your relationship starts to change magically and automatically. And so this is what we're going to do today is I want you to think of your partner. And if you don't have a partner, this is also a great way to call in an aligned partner so that when you come together to this relationship space, that there is clear communication. You are more on the same page. Instead of maybe you're trying to date and you just feel all this fear when you step into this relationship space with someone, or insecurities. So if all of that is clear, then you can enter this space with confidence and feeling very certain and um, more aligned in yourself. And so this is what you start to attract. So this is what we're going to be clearing today for our um, MediClearing. Is we're going to be clearing. We're going to do two things. One is we're going to go through the process of running your energy. So this is a process for those of you who are new. This is a process that's outlined in my book, Access Your Ultimate Power, The Blueprint to Infinite Intelligence, on Amazon. And in this book, I outline this whole system that I use, the infinity system. And part of this system is a way of keeping your energy field clear. And so that's what we're going to do first. We're going to do the process called running your energy so that you can clear your energy field first. You want to make sure you're clear before we clear this we space. And we'll get into that in a minute. But first, we want to make sure that you're clear so that then you can see the difference between these two spaces. So let's see, where am I not seeing things? Okay, there we go. Yes, so welcome everyone. Now I see all of you. Okay, great. We were in the other space. So, and where are you guys all calling in from? It's nice to I love traveling. I've missed traveling, and so it's nice to be back on the other side of the country here, and looking forward to more traveling. I'll be going to, if all goes well, they're still working the plans out themselves, but going to London in June. That is my hope to that my mentor grounds their end of things, and so that's what they're planning. So we'll see how that works out. And so that's one of my things I'm looking forward to, is going to London in June. And maybe once they get all their stuff organized and squared away, then maybe we could even set up our own little event there. So good having you all here. And they're also considering going to Ibiza. So that's another place I'll be headed to. Yes, Roma. That excites Roma. Good to see you, Tony, from Houston. We have Oklahoma, and Roma's in London. And not sure where Rashid is. Zaylia. I always forget where you, I want to say Texas, but I'm not sure. And Anna Maria, good to have you here. And yes, and Selma's here in Florida. So great having you all here. So what I want you to do as part of this clearing is we're going to get ultra grounded first. So there's actually three parts to this whole process. There's the grounding process. There's the energy part where it clears your central orbit. And then we run energy through our arms so that we can give and receive. Really important to be balanced in that. So let's go ahead and get ultra grounded. We're going to use our free imagination. We're going to imagine a line of energy, but I like to make it a big line, like a pipe that's big enough you could drop a cantaloupe down this thing. And so you're going to connect that from the base of your spine all the way to the center of the planet. There we go. I feel very lucky. I found a very quiet spot in this hotel that is a vacant room. And so I snuck in here, and it's really quiet. So we have our space because I've already checked out, and I'm just ready to go to the airport after this. So we're getting ultra grounded. We're putting down that grounding cord. Excellent. And now I want you to imagine roots going down into the earth for maybe hundreds of miles from the bottoms of your feet, and it's going to intermingle through the entire root system, and it's going to wrap around the entire planet. So you're intermingling with this highly communicative, high communication, very efficient and effective communication all around the entire planet. Highly intelligent. That's what I was trying to think of. And as well as connecting with pure darkness and the crystalline grid, which is the pure light. So start bringing all of that energy, abundance, feminine energy as well, up through the feet. So it kind of stops right at the bottoms of the feet. So we want to bring that energy up through the legs. Now, yesterday at the event, I met a man who had really bad eczema on his lower part of his legs. And he had no earth energy coming up through his legs. So if you have leg problems, this could be the reason why. So let's bring this energy up through the legs. There we go. And then when it gets to your grounding cord, it's going to go down the grounding cord. So you have 2 loops of energy up the legs and down the grounding. Excellent. And then we're going to see if you have a worry circle. Yes, so around the root chakra is a circle of energy. Right now it's congested out to the 3rd layer. So let's pull this energy in. And we're just going to drop all this worry, stress, anxiety, doubts, uncertainty, any of this anxious energy. We're just going to drop that right down the grounding cord. Excellent. And then we're going to go up to our hearts. Spirit is now directing us to ground our heart chakra. But instead of bringing the grounding cord up, we're bringing the heart energy down. So we're not connecting the old to the new. We're connecting the new down to the grounding. So we're going to make sure this heart chakra is open first. Okay, it's 100% open. That's great. And start to amplify the illumination that you see in your heart. Or maybe you feel it. Maybe you feel things as opposed to seeing things. So we're just going to start bringing this heart energy down into the solar plexus where it's stopping. We're going to go out to the 3rd layer. So this energy here is an indication that you're having a hard time getting things done. Like you have to use a lot of effort and energy to maybe push, and feels like you have to force things. And maybe feel like you have to push your partner as well. So let's just drop all this energy down the grounding. There we go. And we're going to go back to bringing this heart energy down through the solar plexus and the 2nd chakra. Spilling down the root. Excellent job. Great. And so now we're just going to let that run. So this is getting ultra grounded. So we're just going to let all of that run on autopilot. And it's just going to run by itself, just like gravity. There's nothing to really do. And we're just going to let that run. So now we're going to place our attention far above our heads. We're going to start connecting with pure source energy. And we're going to start bringing this energy down into our crown. It's going to pass through a bunch of rings, creative rings. They stack above our head with space in between each one, and they're sort of hovering above our head. And then we're going to bring this pure source energy down through these creative rings that hold your dreams and desires. It's recalibrating these rings so that what you create is in your highest and best interests. So it's coming down into the crown now. To the Crown Six Chakras. It's going to go down through the central core into that 6th chakra where it's stopping. So it's getting stuck on some beliefs right behind here in the 6th chakra. And it goes out to the third layer, the congestion, both front and back. So we're going to pull in this energy and all of the beliefs that, where you feel powerless, where you feel kind of helpless, where you can't change things. And the truth is we control nothing. And sometimes it's hard for people to adopt this new way of thinking, this new paradigm where we are surrendering more and we're allowing things to happen as opposed to trying to make things happen and force and push. So we're bringing these beliefs into the core. We're just going to drop it down the grounding. We're going to go back to bringing pure source down through the sixth chakra, down into the throat. Very good. And down into the heart. Good. And the solar plexus, second chakra, spilling down the root. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to mix these two energies. Pure source coming down the backside, earth energy coming up the legs. We're going to mix these two energies and we're going to bring a 50-50 mixture up the front of our central core, of our central orbit. And we're going to bring it real close to the spine so that it gets the beginning of each of the chakras. So as it's coming up, now it's even having a hard time leaving the root chakra. So there's some energy there. There's some fear. So I want you to open up this grounding, your root chakra a little bit more, and we're just going to drop this fear that's sitting right there at the root chakra. And what this fear does is it stops you from doing the things you want to do, from maybe being motivated. It's maybe distracts you. There's a lot of ways that fear shows up. But the end result is that it stops you from doing whatever the thing is that you're trying to get done. Okay, good. So we're just dropping that down. Now we're going back to bringing this 50-50 mixture up the front through the second chakra. So it's stopping right there. And so the front of this chakra is congested all the way out to the 15th layer. And this is where the 1% that hangs out in this 15th layer, where they're interfering with what you create. And let's see if there's a lot of anger or fear. So it's not that, it's your creative energy. So that's one of the three energies that get processed in the second chakra. But if the 1% is interfering with what you create, then you're going to be creating for them. You're not going to be creating for yourself. So we're going to pull their energy into the core of our second chakra so we can send that down the grounding cord. So as it pulls into that second layer, right at that second chakra, so here's where the anger is. So we're going to pull this anger. Maybe it makes you mad that they're trying to control what you create. They've been doing that for a long time. But more and more people are waking up to the games that these energies that are controlling the planet have been trying to use. It's not that it's anything new. It's just that now we have eyes to see what's going on. It's like the veil is getting lifted, and it's more and more people are waking up. So as you ascend higher, as all of humanity is ascending higher, whether they believe it or not, whether they like it or not, it's just what's happening. This is just part of the mechanics of the universe. So as people are ascending higher, what they're going to notice and see is going to change. So we're dropping this anger down the grounding. Okay, that's where we left off. Okay, great. So let's go back to bringing this 50-50 mixture up through the second chakra, into the solar plexus, into the heart. It's stopping right there. So the congestion here also goes out to the 15th layer, where the 1% is trying to suppress our heart energy. So this is, especially for women, this is the most important, I want to say piece of machinery, but it's the most important part of our energy field, because this is where we access our infinite intelligence. This is also where we self-generate love instead of waiting for someone on the outside to find just that right person to make us feel loved. So it doesn't come from the outside. And so this is part of the programming that is backwards. There's so many things that are backwards, upside down, part of the amnesia program. And so now what humanity is starting to remember is that we have the capacity to self-generate love right in our hearts. And then if everyone did that, we fill ourselves up. We fill ourselves up with our self-generated love. And then we start to send that frequency out. Just think if everybody did that. If everybody connected to this ability to self-generate love, we filled ourselves up. And then when you're sending that frequency out, that's what you're going to attract back. So whatever kind of partner you're attracting, or maybe you attracted a partner in the old paradigm, the old paradigm where you went out and found someone to love you, and they just can't love you enough, right? You just never feel loved by them. And the interesting thing is that you'll discover, maybe through this process, is that you've been trying to get them to love you to fill your empty self up, as opposed to filling yourself up. So that the old paradigm is trying to get that, but we're stepping into this new paradigm. So if you have a partner you attracted from the old paradigm, it doesn't mean that it's a ruined thing and that it will never work. They may change as a result of you filling yourself up, because then you're no longer needy. You're no longer feeling desperate. You're no longer trying to grasp for all this energy that's not available because you haven't filled yourself up. And then on top of that, so one of the reasons that can make it challenging to fill ourselves up is we have this 1% energy, or reptilian energy, or whatever you want to call this oppressive energy that's holding humanity down, is they are very averse to heart energy. It's like kryptonite to them, because they operate with zero heart, no heart energy. That's why they can do the heinous things that are happening on the planet. They don't care about people. They care about power. They care about money because they think that gives them more power. And so we're going to go back to pulling this 1% energy. So there's a bigger piece to this energy that we're going to clear. So there's a control being that's in this heart, and it goes all the way out to the 30th layer. So that's reptilian energy. So we're going to use a black flame. That's one of the new tools that we're using. It's not in the book, which means I have to write another book now to explain all the new things that have evolved, because this is a living, growing system. And so it's always going to be changing and morphing and growing. And as long as you come here on a regular basis, you're going to be first to hear the newest and latest downloads. So as we are using this black flame, so you can go ahead and do this. You can use a black flame right behind your heart chakra, and not behind the heart chakra, in the heart chakra, behind your chest. And so you turn up this black flame, and looks like some light language wants to come through. So between you and me, we're all going to do this together as a group. It's like we form this mastermind when we get here, and we're all moving in the same direction. And okay, so you guys use the flame. Oi aenea amaya ko utu ame ineeteta guapa enayetu ugoyanama. Enaetitia kukuma enaye ataye ko guape. Okay, good. Okay, so now we're going to go back to bringing, let's see, where were we? We were bringing, I think we're coming up now. We're on our way up. That's right. We're on our way up, and we're coming up through the second and the third, and we were stopped at the heart. That's right. Heart. Okay, so there's still some energy there. Okay, so now there's fear entities we're going to clear. It's about 5 of them. We're going to use the same tool, black flame, but we have a different focus. So go ahead and turn up the black flame as we transmute the fear entities that keep us afraid of expanding our heart and sending a love frequency out there. Oi namaye ate kukwama uneate tiapu kwame ape onoyokwa iti nape atata epae kukwa pena etitia. Okay, good. So let's bring this 50-50 mixture up through the heart. Now, there we go. Maybe you notice a difference. So I'm bringing this up through the heart and throat, 6th chakra, crown, rings. And then it's going to cascade like a big fountain through all the layers of your aura. And this aura is like a big cocoon with all these layers. And when this cocoon gets below your feet, the aura merges with your grounding cord, so it has a place to release. Yay, today the aura is clear. That's really good. So to me, that's an indication that those of you who come here on a regular basis, or those of you who are joined, are really starting to move a lot of these energies, which is great, because the more that we move and the faster we can get through this preliminary stuff, we can get to the deeper stuff. So let's clear the final piece, which is a circle of reciprocity. So we're going to start at the heart, and we're going to bring this heart energy out your right arm. So I want you to bring this energy up to the shoulder, like through your clavicle and out that right shoulder. So it's getting stuck right here. So we're going to gently pull this energy out the right arm. So this is the right masculine, giving, implementing side. The masculine side is all about logic and structures. We need a really strong structure. So this infinity system is a structure, and it's a very powerful structure and built in a way to accommodate all the feminine energy that wants to flow through it. So we're bringing this energy out the right arm, and then we're going to join the fingertips together. We're going to allow the receiving up that left receiving arm. Slowly, slowly, there you go. Up to, so it's stopping at the elbow. And so you might start to receive, whether it's start to receive something from your partner, but then it doesn't follow through. It doesn't like complete all the way. This is why. It's not about your partner. So we're going to continue allowing, receiving up this right arm, down through the front and back of the heart, out the right arm, in the left. Okay, there we go. And then simultaneously through the throat and the 6th chakra, through the crown, through all of the rings. Excellent. Okay, great. So next, so that was the process of running your energy. It's a very simple process. But it's just a matter of doing it on a regular basis. And then you'll understand all the parts so that eventually you won't need to use the prompts, or you won't need to even listen to a recording. So, hang on, okay, good. They found me. Okay, so um, so we are clearing our circle of reciprocity. Okay, so that's all clear. So now let's check a few things before we go through the process of clearing your partner without ever clearing your partner. I want to check a few things first. So I want to make sure that your levels of anger are at 0. It's at 95%. So that's why I'm checking this. So you're probably kind of pissed that you're not, that he's just not interested in what you're interested in. And all of that stuff is just a little too woo-woo for him, or whatever it is. And you really would love to have a partner that's on the same level as you. So let's find this anger so we can eliminate it and clear it. And 7, 6. So in the root chakra, out to that third layer. So this is where you're using anger to feel safe. So by clearing this anger, it doesn't mean we're taking anger away from you. You always have access to your anger, but we're removing the excess. Operating from anger as your power source is, one, not sustainable, really hard on the nervous system. And it's just not a fun way to operate, always being angry, and like people don't listen to you unless chopping their heads off, or, biting their heads off. So we are going to, out to the third layer at the root chakra, we're just going to start pulling this anger in. Okay, so this anger is not yours, for one thing. So before we even eliminate the anger, because I want to show you something. There's some energy cords in here. So people are cording to your root chakra. Maybe you're the rock of Gibraltar in a lot of people's lives, and they rely on you for some sense of security. And so they cord to your root chakra so they can feel stable. But when they're having a bad day, you're going to experience it as your own. If they're angry, you're going to feel angry and think it's your anger, but it's not. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to use a violet flame. You can also take the circle. This is the way we've been doing it in the past, but I don't know. I think the violet flame just seems like the more advanced way. We're just using lots of flames now. So let's just use the violet flame. I'm going to use a violet flame right at your root chakra. And I want you to turn up the volume on that so that we can transmute these attachments, so that this violet flame is going to change the frequency right at your root chakra, all with your imagination. And you're going to transmute these attachments. So go ahead and do that. And I will check back. Okay, so I'm going to be right back, because someone opened the door, but they didn't close it all the way. So it's kind of, hopefully it's not too noisy. But I'll check the root chakra right when I come back. So hang on just a second. Okay, I'm back. So we're going to check to see if you cleared the energy cords. Let's see how many are left. 0. Okay, so now I'm going to remeasure the anger. Okay, so maybe you already feel calmer just pulling those cords out or transmuting those cords, because now the anger is dropped down to 15%. So that's, you'll barely even feel that. But we want to make sure that it's all the way down to 0, because this is how anger grows. It starts at a little seed of 15%, barely noticeable. But then the next thing you know, it's at 50%. Now you're annoyed and you don't even know why. And so we're just going to clear all of it. So the rest of this bit of anger, it's actually still in your root, okay? But it's only out to the second layer. Okay, so let's just pull this anger in. It doesn't look like there's any more cords, entities. Okay, good. So we're just going to pull this anger in at the root, and we're just going to drop it down the grounding. Okay, there you go. Whew. Okay, so let's remeasure anger. Still at 15%. 2. So the reason we want this to get all the way to 0 as well is because this is how you're going to see the difference between your space and the we space, which is going to be the relationship space. So let's keep, let's see what else. Okay, so this is that new energy we found a couple weeks ago, the watcher energy. So we're going to use a new tool, and this is not a violet flame, it's a rainbow flame. So we're using our free imagination to do this, and you're just going to trust that this flame has enough intelligence to know where to go, how far out to find this watcher energy, which is actually all the way out in the 50th layer of your aura. So we're going to, I'm going to use my rainbow gloves, and you can use the flame. I'll use a little light language, and we're going to clear the rest of this angry energy. Okay, so you go ahead. Oi nai ea, a me o kukuama, a te tiani o mai ea ka, otoa a pea, e ni atata, wapea, u no yo o kae, e na ye po u koyo. Okay, so now the anger is at 0. I always find it. I don't just go on. We have to get all of it. Okay, so the second thing I want to measure is fear. So that's at 15%, also in the root chakra, out to the 3rd layer. So this is part of this fear is a fear of, it's a fear of feeling safe to take your next step. So it doesn't feel safe to do that. So we're just going to pull that fear in, drop it down the grounding. Okay, good. So now fear's at 0. Martyr. Okay, martyr's at 0. Victim. Let's clear victim energy. 15%, also in the root, also out to the 3rd layer. But even though we're going out to the same place, we have a different intention each time. So we're clearing different energies. So we're just going to drop all of this victim energy. That's the energy of feeling taken advantage of, unappreciated, which happens a lot in relationships, right? Okay, and then we're going to check on how much unconditional love you have for yourself. 100%, great. We have some rocking gals here, or maybe we have guys here too. I saw a Tony here. Okay, great. So this works no matter what gender you are, so it works for everybody. So now now we've cleared our energy field. So now we can focus on the we space. So the we space, as I mentioned before, is the space that represents our relationship. And so what we're going to do is we're going to imagine an avatar, which is basically the image of a person standing out in front of you. And we're going to start running energy through this we space. And we're going to see what shows up that's not in your space, but it's in this relationship space. So this might just be really fascinating because this might all be new to you, but it's more fascinating that it works. So let's make sure it's grounded. It is. And I'm going to go faster through this because we already went through the process. So you know the process. I'm not going to explain as much. And so now we've sent those roots down and we're bringing earth energy up through the bottoms of our feet. Not our feet, the feet of the avatar. Okay, so it only comes up maybe to the tops of the feet. And so we're just going to gently pull this abundant earth energy up through the legs. And so it's coming up through this avatar's legs that represents your relationship. It's about up to the knees now. Keep going. Going to bring it all the way up to the top of the leg. So this is where your relationship might not feel very grounded. Even though you have a grounding cord, we need to be connected and feel safe being connected to the earth. Okay, so now when it gets to the top, it's going to go down the grounding cord of the avatar. Okay, great. Let's see if there's a worry circle. Yes, out to the 15th layer. So this is where the 1% loves to interfere with relationships. They don't want people to get along. They don't want collaboration. So they're in this space right at the root where to make relationships feel unstable. So we're going to pull them out. And we're actually going to pull them up through the central core because this is how they come in. Okay, great. Now let's ground the heart of your relationship space. So we're going to go up to the heart of the avatar. And we're just going to bring this energy down. So it's kind of getting stuck just a few inches going down. So let's see what's in the heart of the avatar. So if you've been in a relationship for any length of time and you're not very happy, chances are there's a lot of resentment and judgments that you put on each other. So we're going to just start letting go of all this so that you don't keep trying to create your relationship from the past. We don't want anything from the past. We want to we're going to clean the slate and it's like starting over. Okay. But it's a lot easier to do if you erase the stuff energetically. So we're going to go out to the third layer right at the heart. And this is also the third layer is kind of like the engine. So it's like the heart doesn't have an engine. There's, yeah. You guys know what I mean, right? Because you're in the relationship. Or maybe you've been trying to call in a relationship and all you get is people that are judging you, or these are your self-judgments as well. So, okay, good. So now, as we're trying to bring this heart energy, there it goes, down into the solar plexus, second chakra, spilling down the root. Okay, so now the heart of this space is grounded. Let's bring pure source down through your intentions, these creative rings above the head of the avatar, where all of your dreams and desires for this relationship live. So we're bringing pure source down through these so that they can be recalibrated in your highest and best interests. So as it's coming down through the crown, it's kind of stopping right at the crown. But this is where you give yourself permission to have this relationship, to be in this relationship. Let's go out to the third layer, because right now there's no sovereignty here. It's like this, the relationship doesn't have permission to exist. That's going to make it hard to be in a relationship. Okay, let's pull this energy in. Whew. Right at the crown. Okay, now let's see if we can bring pure source down through the crown and the sixth chakra. There it goes. Through the throat. Right there where the communication is like, it's hard to talk about stuff. Let's go out to the third layer. There's no power to the communication. And a lot of anger in here. So all of that energy where it doesn't feel like you're being heard or understood, and maybe he doesn't or she doesn't want to hear what you have to say. You're just not on the same page. So let's drop all those unspoken words down the grounding. We're starting over. Today, you're just going to start over. And so we're clearing the space so that when either of you are coming into the space and you both come together, that all that resentment is not going to be here. All the anger is not going to be here. And it's going to feel lighter. It's like, oh, well, he must be in a good mood, or she must be not on her period anymore. So, but it's not that. It's because we're clearing the space. We're clearing the space. Okay, so let's bring pure source down through the heart and the solar plexus where it feels stuck, where nothing's moving. It's like the Mexican standoff where like neither of you are going to budge. So we're going to go out to the third layer. There's a fear entity in this avatar right here at the solar plexus. So it's like stuck, right? So use a black flame. I want you to use a black flame right in this solar plexus of the avatar. We're going to transmute all the stuck energy. There's also a lot of anger in here as well, because that's usually what's on top of fear is anger. So use the black flame to transmute the fear. We'll use light language on this end. O yanai ape okua tatai name uno yoto ape kikianatea e yoto a papa no tu ape kia e na ye ku u uya. Okay, great. So as we're bringing pure source down through the avatar, through the central core, through the heart and the solar plexus, there we go, through the second chakra, excellent, spilling down the root. So now we're going to bring that 50-50 mixture up the front, up through the front. It's having a hard time leaving the root because it's getting stuck on some fear. And looks like some of you have lost your grounding. So maybe you're feeling the anxiety that's been in this space and it feels uncomfortable. And the fear of like, oh, maybe now you have to do something. You don't have to do anything. You need to be an observer after this and not be reactionary. So let's put down the grounding cord of this avatar again. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to bring this 50-50 mixture up the front. Nope, there's something still there. A control being. So we want you to use a black flame right in your root chakra. Onae mayoku uyane tiape oyonotoa. Kekianate paeko oyoto. Omeanate. Ianate ku uyapa. Epe anatetia. Okay, so let's bring this 50-50 mixture up the front through the second, third, fourth. So it's stopping at the heart now. All the way up to the 25th layer. So this is a lot of fear. It's a lot of fear of opening your heart. Maybe you didn't even know that you have a fear of being unlovable. Yep. And a fear of being loved. Two different fears, but they're both going to affect a relationship. If someone is trying to give you love, show you how much they love you and adore you and appreciate you, but if you have the fear of being unlovable, you're going to keep creating the scenario that says, see, you're unlovable. And if you start to get too close to the love and you have a fear of being loved, you're not going to let it in. So let's let go of these fears. 3, 4. So right at we're back at the heart, all the way up to the 25th layer. And there's a control being. So use a black flame right in the heart of the avatar. There you go. Omayeta ayeku uya no toape ianate te akia. Enapaya tu uyo komayeti ame oko no totoame titia e ana yeko wa papa ikia. Yeah, all the broken hearts you've had that you've been holding on to, all that old energy as like to try and remember to never let that happen to you again. Well, when you do that, you're holding on to the past and you're anchored to the past. You're making decisions and choices from the past. We want to bring you into the present moment. And you've done a lot of work on yourself. You're growing and expanding and operating from these different paradigms. You have to let go of the past because all that garbage is just going to hold you back. So as we're bringing this 50-50 mixture in the avatar up through the solar plexus and the heart, right up through the heart, throat, 6 crown rings, through all the layers of your aura. So it merges below the feet with the grounding. We're going to jump out to the 15th layer. We're going to clear this 15th layer starting at the bottom so that we remove this interference, this 1% energy that doesn't want relationships to get along. They don't want heart energy getting generated. They want everybody to stay 6 feet apart. Okay. 15, 30. Okay, the rest of the aura is clear of this avatar. So last, we're going to clear the circle of reciprocity. So we're going to bring that heart energy out the right arm, implementing so that you can give of your time, your energies, your love, your support in this relationship. But then as the energy is coming up through this left arm, kind of gets stuck just past the wrist, this is how you receive. You can't just give in a relationship. You have to be willing to receive. That requires some vulnerability, which can be challenging for some of you. People like to control things. And there you go, up to the shoulder, down through the front and back of the heart. So you can allow yourself to not only give, but allow yourself to receive. So as we're coming through the heart, throat, 6 crown rings, excellent. So that's the process of clearing the we space. Let's see if there's any people corded to this space that are, maybe it's not part of you, just the two of you. Cord. Yes, there's some people that are corded to the root chakra of this space. Um, Actually, there's quite a few. So we're going to use a violet flame right at the base of the spine, right at the root chakra of the avatar. We're going to transmute all these people that are cording to your space. Maybe these are other people that are starting to be interested in you or your partner, and it's starting to affect the relationship. So other influences don't come in unless this space is not aligned, and unless this space is not cohesive. Nothing is even going to be interested in coming in because this is solid. So this is just some periphery stuff. So let's, okay, great job. Cleared that. Good. And I'm curious if any of you are noticing a difference. And while you're helping me see where you guys are all at as a result of this, I just want to share a few things. Hey, Sweden, Lithuania, great. Good to have all you here. Thank you for the reminder, Roma, while I'm thinking of it. Because we never know how long we're going to be on these platforms. Facebook is pretty sketchy these days, right? We are on YouTube, but we've also started, Roma has started a new Telegram platform. So if you haven't joined us there yet, please do. Here's the link. And so you can continue. If anything ever happens, we'll be there. So here's what I want you to do. Terry's from Marin. Very interesting topic. Thank you, Jalpa. And okay, so what I want you guys to do, besides give me some feedback if you're feeling any different than when you got on this, is this is what needs to happen as a result of this, is you'll need to start becoming the observer. One, notice how things are different between the two of you. Maybe things are a little calmer. Maybe conversations are a little easier. Maybe you're starting to feel some heart energy. Maybe the compassion and a little more empathy for your partner is starting to show up. And so just notice how things are different. And start to just thinking here. So you're going to be becoming the observer, and then you're going to confirm the deletions, all the things we deleted today. You're going to confirm these deletions by noticing, one, when you start to operate in your old MO, like when something would be said or done, that you would react a certain way, and if you notice that that's a contributing factor to the garbage that starts to build, that's when it's your opportunity to make a different choice, to do something different. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's you're just watching how your partner's coming unglued, trying to make you the bad guy. I was working with a woman over this weekend who she was always saying how she was just so angry at her partner, and she's been trying to get out of this relationship for years. But come to find out that he's actually the angry one, but he outsources his anger through her by making her angry, pushing until she finally blows up. And then he can be in the angry energy. But then it's not his fault. It's you're the one who's angry. You're the one who's getting upset. So I've worked with her, and we're going to see how things are shifting. But so something like this might happen where now, because of all the energies that we've cleared, you can just become the observer and not react the way you usually do. And you might need to revisit this clearing again, get cleared again, and start over again and just see how things go. So, hey, Julia, great having you here. Yes, feeling much better. Thanks for that feedback. So, yeah, see how that shows up in your relationship. I know it's kind of been a potential relationship, but maybe it'll start to feel safer to be in this space and to interact with each other. So hopefully this will be a great way to go off into the weekend and start experimenting and feeling into this new space and see what happens. Have a great time this weekend. I'll be heading back later today and look forward to seeing all of you guys next week for Friday's inspiration. We have Valentine's Day coming up. So this is, if you feel like you're still struggling with stuff before then, listen to this again and get clear again. Maybe there's some new things will get cleared. So you just keep going deeper and deeper. Every time you do these clearings, you're clearing new stuff. So it's really important to be in the present moment. You're not operating from the past. And wishing all of you a very happy Valentine's Day. And yes, here's one thing that I wanted to let you know about that I don't usually tell you about this, but this is available, is that if you have a partner and you're wondering how compatible you are, I have a vibrational altitude report where I measure both of you and the compatibility between the two of you. So that's a really great opportunity. And here is the report where you can get that. And if you're, dating someone and you don't want to spend and invest a lot of time and energy if you're not even aligned, but you can't quite tell because he's on his best behavior. So this would also be a really good way to find out compatibility. So check that out if you're interested. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. And yeah, okay. Have a great weekend. Sending so much love. Namaste. Let's see, we're going to do something different here today. Okay, bye.
If I look back 21 days ago, it's painful. I was in such fear, anxiety. I was having all sorts of physical symptoms. I was trying to use all the tools that I had. I felt frantic because nothing seemed to be working. So I have diligently done your program. I've listened at least 2 times a day, over the weekends. And it didn't take me long before I felt that fear fade away, the anxiety fade away. And now I really have this sense of calmness. I also feel I've stepped into my power. I was always a people pleaser. I am now, I don't care if others like me or don't like me. I mean, I still have issues with it. I'm wrestling, but for the most part, I am just looking at myself. I don't feel selfish for doing that anymore. And I feel, I really do feel differently. And this is something I've gone to a lot of healers, and I've never felt. So I thank you for this.
When you say you feel amazing, like where were you before we started this? And how is that different now?
Oh, yes. Now, before we started this, I was in I was in purgatory. I mean, I was restless. I was scattered. I was extremely, leaking so much energy. I was very much so paranoid. I was very much so, fearful, extremely, deep in despair of scarcity, struggle, shame, so much of that, and just feeling totally worthless. But now I am feeling extremely empowered. I'm resting. I've reclaimed pleasure and play and potency and, a lot of intuition in my body. I'm able to really be much more efficient. I've manifested a lash extension certification program. Plus, I only had to pay 5% of a financial freedom investment pack.
Wow.
So that is and it was $3,000. So it's amazing that I got that deeply discounted. So I would be able to, have that financial freedom plus an amazing certification that's recession proof.
OMG, girl. I knew. See, she's just such a powerful powerhouse. And that this is all the energies that were holding her down. And so it's no surprise that you, Master Manifester, have created such a great opportunity. And I love hearing how much progress you've made in such a short amount of time, 21 days. Wow.
Yes, incredible.